Rick had been the building superintendent in New York for 20 years. He quietly fixed pipes and solved tenants' problems. Until that night when he stopped 3 armed intruders who broke into the building using professional techniques. The tactical precision Rick displayed made everyone ask, who is this man who's been living among us for 20 years? Before we begin this story, please tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, please subscribe. Because real heroes sometimes work in the most ordinary jobs. East 84th Street, Upper East Side, Manhattan, a 12-story pre-war apartment building. Red brick facade, fire escape stairs, vintage details. 48 apartments, approximately 130 residents, families, young professionals, retired couples. And Rick Martinez, the building superintendent. Rick Martinez, 54 years old, medium height, strong shoulders. His dark hair is completely gray, with lines of experience on his face. Same outfit every day. Blue work coveralls, tool belt, sturdy boots. Name tag, Rick Building Super. He's lived the same routine for 20 years. 7 a.m. maintenance rounds, daytime repair calls, evening security checks, boiler repair, plumbing fixes, electrical work. A solution for every problem, help for every tenant. The tenants love Rick. Reliable, efficient, never complains. Midnight flood, power outage, heating problem. Rick always comes, always fixes it. Mrs. Chen, 8th floor. Rick is very good man. Always helps, never says no. Jake Williams, 3rd floor. I've lived in this building for 5 years. I don't know what we'd do without Rick. Sarah Davis, 11th floor. As a woman living alone, having Rick here makes me feel safe. But Rick Martinez has a secret. 25 years ago, he lived a very different life. Staff Sergeant Rick Martinez, U.S. Army Special Forces, Delta Force, Iraq, Afghanistan, classified operations worldwide. 15 years active duty. Nobody knows this, because Rick never talks about it. When he came to the building, he wrote General Maintenance Construction, his previous experience to building management. Technically true, he did a lot of engineering in the military. But he didn't tell the real story. For 20 years, nobody has been curious. Rick has a basement apartment, small but functional, living room, bedroom, kitchenette. The walls are plain, minimal decoration. But there's one closet that nobody has ever opened, locked metal cabinet. Inside, military commendations, unit photos, tactical gear. And something else, radio equipment, emergency frequency monitoring. Rick listens every night. Police bands, fire department, emergency services. Habit from the old days, situational awareness. This evening starts normally too. November 15th, Thursday night, cold, light snow falling. Most tenants home, lights in windows, usual evening routine. Rick is in the basement, doing boiler maintenance. Annual inspection, system checks, everything normal. 10:30 p.m. Rick notices strange activity on the radio. Police chatter increased, something happening in the neighborhood. 11:15 p.m. Rick starts security rounds, every floor, checking doors, fire exits, emergency equipment. Routine, but tonight extra careful. He stops on the 12th floor, looking out the window at the street. Parked van across the street. Wasn't there earlier? Engine off, but people inside. Rick observes. 3 figures in the van, sitting quietly, watching the building. Not normal late-night activity. Rick returns to the basement, increases radio volume. Police frequencies busy tonight. Multiple units moving through the area. 12:45 a.m. Rick hears an alarm. Not a building alarm, radio alarm. Emergency frequency activation. All units be advised. 3-man crew suspected in area. Armed home invasions, multiple locations tonight. Rick freezes. Van across the street. 3 men, armed crew. Rick turns off the radio, opens the metal cabinet. Inside, tactical radio, night vision goggles, combat knife. Equipment he hoped never to need again. Rick takes the gear, turns off apartment lights, looks out the window again. Van empty, men gone. Rick's heart rate increases, building under threat. 47 families, 130 people. His responsibility. Rick leaves the basement, silent movement, checking every floor, looking for signs of intrusion. He stops on the 3rd floor, stairwell door ajar, normally closed, locked at night. Rick approaches carefully, door slightly open, footprints on the floor, fresh wet from snow. Rick turns on the tactical radio. Emergency frequency, but doesn't transmit yet. Need confirmation. Moves to the 4th floor. Same pattern. Door ajar. Signs of entry. Then Rick hears it. Faint voices from the 6th floor. Not tenant voices. Strangers. Rick climbs the stairs silently. 25 years of training kicking in. Movement techniques, breath control, situational awareness. 6th floor landing. 3 men in dark clothing. Professional equipment. Lockpicks, electronics, weapons visible. Rick identifies. Leader, tall, experienced. 2 followers, younger, nervous. Armed with handguns, tactical gear, they're working on apartment 6B. Mrs. Petrosky, elderly widow, lives alone. Easy target. Rick assesses options. 3 armed subjects, confined space, civilian area. Can't use loud tactics. Would endanger residents. Needs silent approach. Rick moves to the 7th floor. Building layout advantage. He knows every inch. Maintenance access, service routes, emergency systems. Fire escape access from 7th floor window. Rick is outside now. Cold metal, snow falling. Moving down to 6th floor fire escape. Window access to 6B. Mrs. Petrosky's apartment. Rick can see inside. She's zip-tied on the couch, terrified but alive. 3 men searching the apartment, looking for valuables, cash, jewelry. Professional home invasion crew. Rick uses the tactical radio. Low-volume transmission. Emergency services. This is building superintendent at 412 East 84th Street. 3 armed intruders, 6th floor, apartment 6B. Elderly resident held hostage, requesting immediate backup. Sir, are you law enforcement? Negative. Building security, former military. Sir, do not engage. Units are en route. Rick considers. Police response time minimum 8 minutes. These men could kill Mrs. Petrosky and escape. Rick can't wait. Rick enters through the window. Silent glass cutting, lock manipulation, skills from classified operations. Inside the apartment now. Hallway, moving toward living room. 3 voices, Mrs. Petrosky crying softly. Rick assesses positions. Leader by window. 2nd man searching bedroom. 3rd man guarding Mrs. Petrosky. Rick needs a distraction. Building advantage, electrical system. Rick moves to the kitchen. Electrical panel access. Circuit breaker manipulation. Lights out. Complete darkness. What the hell? Check the breakers. Keep watching the old lady. Confusion, movement, opportunity. Rick moves. Night vision advantage. He knows this apartment layout perfectly. First target, man guarding Mrs. Petrosky. Silent approach from behind. Chokehold applied. Pressure point technique. Unconscious in 8 seconds. Jimmy, where are you? Rick moves to the bedroom. 2nd man with flashlight searching. Back turned to door. Rick's silent approach. Disarming technique, weapon control, takedown. 2nd man neutralized. Leader in living room, panicking. Jimmy, Tony, what's happening? Rick has the advantage. Leader isolated, confused, can't see. This is building security, Rick calls out. Your men are down. Drop your weapon. Who are you? Show yourself. I'm the guy who's been fixing your broken faucets for 20 years. And right now, I'm the guy who's going to stop you from hurting my tenants. Leader fires blind shots, missing Rick, endangering Mrs. Petrosky. Rick moves, using furniture as cover, closing distance. Combat training taking over. Final approach. Leader turning toward sound, weapon raised. Rick tackles. Weapon disarmed, suspect on ground. Professional restraint applied. Lights back on. 3 suspects secured. Mrs. Petrosky safe. Rick unties Mrs. Petrosky. Are you hurt, Mrs. P? She's shaking but unhurt. Rick, what did you? Just doing my job, ma'am. Police sirens approaching. Multiple units. Rapid response. Rick secures weapons, checks suspects. All alive, restrained, ready for police custody. Mrs. Petrosky stares at Rick. Rick, what you just did, that wasn't normal maintenance work. Rick helps her to a chair. Sometimes the job requires different skills. Police enter the building. Rick meets them in the hallway. NYPD, hands visible. Rick raises his hands. Rick Martinez, building superintendent. 3 suspects secured in apartment 6B. Elderly resident safe, no injuries. Sergeant Rodriguez enters the apartment, sees professional takedown, perfect evidence preservation, textbook crowd control. Mr. Martinez, what's your background? Rick hesitates. 20 years of privacy ending. Military, long time ago. What branch? Army. Specialty? Rick pauses. Secret ending after 20 years. Special Forces. Rodriguez's eyes widen. Green Beret? Rick nods. Delta Force. But that was then. Now I just fix boilers. Word spreads through the building. Tenants gathering in hallways, police cars outside, news vans arriving. Building super stops home invasion. Hidden veteran saves neighbor. 20-year secret revealed in heroic rescue. Rick hates the attention, but tenants treat him differently now. The next morning, the building is buzzing with activity. Everyone wants to talk to Rick. Jake Williams. Rick, I can't believe you've been Delta Force this whole time. Rick replaces a light bulb in the hallway. Was Delta Force. Now I'm just building maintenance. Sarah Davis. Why didn't you ever tell us? Rick checks a fire extinguisher. Past is past. This is who I am now. Mrs. Chen. But you could have done anything. Why building superintendent? Rick looks at her kindly. Mrs. Chen, I've lived here 20 years. This building, these people, you're my community. I protect what I care about. Mrs. Petrosky approaches, still shaken but grateful. Rick, I don't know how to thank you. No thanks needed, Mrs. P. Just doing my job. That wasn't building maintenance, Rick. That was something else. Rick considers. Maybe the job is bigger than I thought. A week passes. The building feels different. Not just because of the security upgrade, but because residents see Rick differently. Not just a maintenance guy anymore. Guardian. Protector, but something else is happening. Veterans start visiting the building. Word spreads through networks. A young Marine recently discharged. Excuse me, are you Rick Martinez? Heard you're former Delta Force. Rick fixes a mailbox lock. Can I help you with something? Actually, yeah. Having trouble adjusting to civilian life. Heard you might understand. Rick looks at the kid, recognizes the struggle. Want coffee? We can talk in my apartment. They sit in Rick's small living room. The Marine shares deployment stories, family problems, job struggles. Rick listens, understands, offers perspective. Transition's hard, Rick says. Find something you care about protecting. Focus on that. How'd you find your thing? Didn't find it. It found me. Been living here 20 years. These people became family. More veterans start coming. Word spreads. Building superintendent in Manhattan who gets it. Rick doesn't advertise it, but doesn't turn anyone away. Months pass. The building becomes an informal veteran support center. Not planned, just evolved. Rick still does maintenance, still fixes boilers, repairs leaks, changes light bulbs, but also something else. Helping veterans transition, providing perspective, creating community, building management notices, tenants happier, building safer, community stronger, property manager visits. Rick, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. This building has never been better. Just taking care of things. It's more than maintenance, Rick. You're building something here. Rick considers. Maybe that's what I've been doing all along. A year later, the building has changed. Still same apartments, same residents, but the atmosphere is different, stronger, safer, more connected. Rick still doesn't talk about missions, still doesn't seek recognition, but no longer hides completely. And every night at 12:45 a.m., Rick remembers, not with pain, but with purpose, the night he stopped hiding and started protecting again. Because sometimes serving means staying invisible, sometimes it means stepping forward, and sometimes it means understanding that protecting people is what you do, no matter what your job title says. Rick Martinez, Delta Force operator, building superintendent, hero who chose quiet service until his community needed him most. The skills he hoped never to use again saved his neighbors and showed him his true mission. Because real heroes don't clock out from protecting people. They just find new ways to serve. So I ask you, have you ever lived next to someone like Rick? Someone whose quiet presence made you feel safer? Someone who served, then chose to serve again in different ways? Share their stories in the comments. Because heroes like Rick Martinez deserve recognition, even when they don't seek it. Subscribe if this story moved you, because here we honor those who protect us in seen and unseen ways. Next time you see your building superintendent, janitor, or maintenance worker, remember, they might be carrying more than tools. They might be carrying the skills, experience, and dedication to save your life when it matters most. Thank you for watching. And thank you to all the Ricks out there, keeping our homes safe one day at a time.